Hi friend, thank you so much for joining me for this next video on peace. I hope that you have been enjoying this Fruit of the Spirit series so far, and I am super excited about this particular characteristic because I think that peace is something that is so powerful and yet evades so many of us. And it's also something that goes hand in hand with yoga. The practice of yoga itself just really helps to facilitate a peaceful spirit, a peaceful mind. It brings peace to the body. And so I just am excited to share this practice with you today. For today, we're going to go ahead and start in a seated position. So find a comfortable position on the floor. Maybe the legs are crossed. If crossing your legs and sitting like this hurts a bit for you, you can take a block and slide it underneath your glutes so that you can just sit up a little bit, and that will take out some of that pressure in the front of the hips. So go ahead and find a position that feels comfortable for you. And then just let the eyes come closed. Feel your body just resting into the floor. And start to take some nice deep breaths. Feel your chest and your belly fill with air on each inhale. And then slowly just relax down into the mat on each exhale. Start to use your breath to just help your mind quiet down and prepare for our practice today. And so while you're holding here, taking those nice deep breaths, I'm going to read to you our verse from today. And so our verse for this section on peace is Isaiah 26:3. It says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you." And I think that there are just so many parts of that verse that are really beautiful and are worth acknowledging. But first off, I love that it just mentions that God will keep us in peace. And that right there should be something that would bring us peace, because rather than viewing it as this personal responsibility of cultivating peace within ourselves, we just have to remember that when we have our eyes focused on God and we are trusting in Him, He will bring us peace. And that connection and that relationship with Him will be the thing that fosters peace within us. And so as you're sitting here, eyes closed, taking those nice deep breaths, just take a moment to meditate on that thought. How can you use this practice as an opportunity to connect with God and to use that to cultivate peace in your life and to find the peace that comes from knowing that He is always in control and that He is taking care of you? Go ahead and slowly open your eyes and turn your palms facing down on your knees. Press the shoulders away from the ears and start to engage the core by drawing the belly button back towards the spine. And then keep that nice strong engagement as you inhale to reach the chest forward, gaze comes up towards the ceiling. And then exhale to round, chin comes to chest, rounding through the whole spine, finding a stretch through the back body. And then again, we'll inhale to reach the chest forward and up. And exhale to round. Take that one more time, inhaling, reaching up. Exhale to round. And then slowly make your way back to a nice neutral position. And reach out tall through the crown of the head, growing long through the spine. And then right from here, we're going to inhale to sweep the fingertips up overhead, reaching tall. Exhale, the right hand comes down to the mat as the left fingertips reach out long. Breathing deeply here. On each inhale, reach a little bit longer through that top arm. And then exhale slowly, just settling into the mat, finding a little bit more depth in the stretch. One more breath here. And as you exhale, slowly return back to center. Hands come up overhead. We'll inhale to reach a little bit taller. Exhale, left hand comes down to the mat, right fingertips reaching out overhead. And even here, you want to keep that core engaged, working to stack the shoulders on top of each other so that we're opening through the chest and the side of the body. Good, one more breath. And exhale back to center, reaching up tall, and then just gently let the fingers come down to the knees again. And on your next breath, we're going to inhale, taking the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Inhale to sit up tall, drawing that core in, and reach back behind you with the left fingertips. Just taking a gentle twist here. And with each breath, you can inhale to sit up a little bit taller, and exhale to twist a little bit further. Be gentle here. We just want to wake up the spine, moving it in different directions, starting to stretch out the muscles that protect the spine. And exhale to gently release back to center. Pause for a moment to find your alignment. And then we'll take the left hand to the outside of the right knee. Inhale to sit up taller, and again, reach back behind you with those right fingertips, finding that gentle twist. Use your breath here. And then go ahead and slowly release back to center. And from here, we're just going to inhale to reach the fingertips up overhead. And then exhale to fold forward over the thighs, reaching the fingertips out in front of you, letting the forearms, the palms, maybe the forehead rest down towards the floor. And again, we're just going to hold here for a few more deep breaths. And as you're holding here, I just want you to bring your mind back to that concept of peace. And with each inhale, just fill your body with the peace that God offers you. Feel your chest and your belly and your heart and your arms and your mind just growing full with the peace that He offers us every single day. All we have to do is just turn to Him and acknowledge that He is the one who will bring us that peace and that sense of joy and purpose and freedom. All of that is found within Him. We simply have to show up and ask for it and receive it with gratitude. Take one more breath here, feeling that concept of peace just completely filling your body. And then go ahead and gently walk the fingertips back in towards the shins, sitting up nice and tall. And we're going to go ahead and make our way into a half A. So reach the right heel out away from you on a diagonal, and then bring the bottom of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. And now from here, we're going to inhale to sit up a little bit taller and rotate through the core to square our shoulders over our right thigh. Take another breath in, and then exhale to slowly start to walk those fingertips out towards the shin, maybe towards the foot, and just let the chest relax down over the thigh, maybe allowing the chin to come in towards the chest to find a stretch in the upper back and the neck. And again, we're just holding here, taking nice deep breaths. Each time you exhale, feel your body just releasing into the stretch a little bit more. There really are so many benefits to being mindful of your breath when you're practicing yoga. It helps your muscles to respond to the stretch that you're in. It helps to calm your central nervous system. And I find that for myself, it really helps me to just keep my mind present and focused on my practice and my intention for that practice. So use your breath here. Allow it to be a tool to help make this practice more beneficial for you. On your next inhale, if you'd like, you can let the left fingertips reach up overhead and start to open through the chest again, reaching the right palm or forearm down towards the outside of the right leg, taking a nice big side body stretch here, just like we did in that cross-legged position at the beginning of class. Feel the length in the side of the body, really working to stack the shoulders on top of one another so you're opening through the chest. Holding for one more breath here. And then we'll inhale to rise back up to center, taking our time. And then go ahead and switch sides. Left heel reaches out away from you, and the bottom of the right foot comes to the inside of the thigh. Again, we'll inhale to sit up taller, square the shoulders over the thigh, and walk the hands out to fold forward. maybe take a moment here in this stretch to just ask God to replace any areas of stress and instead just put His perfect peace in their place. Maybe something specific comes to mind. And with each exhale, just let go of that source of stress or of fear and continue to inhale the peace that God is handing to you. One last breath right here. And then if you'd like the option to add that side body stretch, we'll just shift the weight over towards the left hand a bit as the right fingertips come up overhead to reach out long, reaching right over where the foot is. Again, stacking the shoulders, really working to find a nice stretch in the side body. And make sure that right knee is staying down towards the mat. We don't want to let it pop up so that we can reach further. We want to keep our hips nice and level on the floor while we're stretching. One more breath here. And exhale to slowly rise back up to center. Good. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and just reach both heels out right in front of us. Working to have the legs straight, feet slightly flexed, but feel free to bend the knees a bit if that feels better, if you've got some extra tightness today. And then on your next inhale, we're going to reach up tall. Feel the fingertips reaching towards the sky, but the ribs are staying engaged. The core is staying nice and tight. And then exhale to reach forward through the fingertips, hinging at the hips, finding that forward fold. Hands can come down to the floor, maybe working to reach for the calves, maybe down to the feet. And again, holding here, coming back to the breath. Inhale to lift up halfway, finding a flat back, reaching out through the crown of the head, pressing the shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale to fold forward again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. One more time, we inhale to lift up halfway, really reaching out through the crown of the head, and then exhale to fold forward for 3 last breaths. And on your next inhale, slowly start to let the chest come back to center, sitting up nice and tall. And we're going to take just a few more postures here on the floor before we'll go ahead and stand up. So we're going to take the right foot and plant the right foot on the outside of the left thigh. So drawing that knee in towards the chest, we'll inhale to sit up nice and tall. And then you can wrap the left arm around the right knee if you would like. Inhale to reach up and exhale to find that twist. Really reaching back with the right fingertips. Continuing to stay nice and tall, keeping a flat back and a strong spine. Finding that stretch in the outside of the hip. Maybe finding a nice stretch throughout the spine and the muscles of the back as well. Keep those shoulders pressed away from the ears here. And then exhale, gently release your way back to center. Reach the leg out in front of you. And this time we'll bend the left knee, planting it on the outside of the right thigh. Wrap that right elbow around the knee. Inhale to sit up tall and exhale to find your twist. One more breath here. And we'll exhale to gently release back to center. And from here, just go ahead and slide your legs around behind you, making your way to child's pose. So for child's pose, we'll have the toes together, and the knees can either be together or apart. And then we're just working to sit the hips back on the heels, walk the fingertips forward, letting the chest and the forehead come down towards the floor. And as you settle your way into child's pose, go ahead and start to come back to those nice deep breaths, feeling the body really relaxing down into the mat, maybe keeping the eyes closed. Lord, as we pause here in the middle of our practice, I pray that you would just surround everybody who is doing this video right now with your beautiful peace, God, that you would just calm our hearts and our minds, and that you would be with us as we continue to flow and to move today. I pray that this practice would just be an opportunity to spend time in your presence and to learn how we can carry this sense of peace with us off of our mat. Thank you for being here with us. Amen. Take another breath here on the floor. And then on your inhale, go ahead and walk the hands back towards the knees, letting the chest come up from the floor. And we're just going to tuck the toes behind us, lifting the hips up to find downward facing dog. Maybe you want to start to walk out through the feet, bringing some stretch to the calves and the hamstrings. Just gently allowing yourself to settle into this stretch. Maybe being gentle with the hamstrings if they're still feeling kind of tight. And then just work your way to stillness, really pressing the fingertips in towards the floor and reaching the heels down towards the mat. Take a few more breaths here, really feeling the simultaneous strength and stretch of your body. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and gaze towards your fingertips, and then slowly start to walk your way to the top of your mat, coming to rest in a gentle forward fold with the knees slightly bent, maybe working to straighten them if it feels okay. Take an inhale here, then a nice big exhale to sigh out through the mouth. And then inhale to rise up tall to mountain, sweeping the fingertips up overhead to reach towards the sky. Feel the core draw in towards the spine. And then exhale, hands come down through heart center, pausing near the chest. And then from here, we're just going to shift the weight into that right foot, stepping our left foot back to find Crescent Lunge. So you'll want to have a nice bend in that front knee, working to straighten through the back leg as you press out through the heel. Feel the connection of your feet on the floor, really pressing down, rooting you to the mat. And then inhale to reach those fingertips up overhead, reaching nice and tall, keeping the shoulders drawing down away from the ears. And we'll hold here, just finding that strength and stillness in the body. Inhale to reach up a little bit taller. And then as you exhale, bring both hands down to the mat on either side of the front foot, maybe bending deeper in the front knee. And then from here, you can either hold just as you are, or maybe hop that left foot back just a little bit further to come into a runner's lunge. So we're working to have a 90-degree angle in the front knee, and then a nice straight back leg pressing out behind us. Palms stay rooted on the floor. And then from here, you have the option to either stay just as you are, or you can inhale to reach those right fingertips up towards the sky. Again, opening through the chest, finding that stretch through the front of the body. Reaching up tall, tall, tall. And then exhale, let the hand come back down towards the mat. And all together, we're going to bend the back knee, placing the left knee on the floor, untucking the toes. And then again, we'll inhale the fingertips coming back up overhead, finding a nice low lunge. Now in this posture, in each exhale, you want to feel your hips pressing forward just a little bit further, working to stretch through the quad and the hip flexor of that back leg. Make sure that you're keeping the chest lifted nice and tall, but the hands can come down towards the knees if that feels more comfortable for you. Take one more breath right here. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring the hands back down towards the mat again. And we'll shift the hips back, straightening through the front leg, finding a single-legged forward fold. If you need to keep a gentle bend in that front knee, that's absolutely fine. But we're just working towards straightening it more and more so that we can really find a stretch in the hamstring. Exhale to let the chest drop a little bit lower. And then inhale to straighten back up through the chest. Slowly start to bend in the front knee, shifting the weight forward again. And we're really going to press our weight into our palms, tuck that back toe to lift up through the hips, straightening through the leg, and step the right foot back so that we land in a high plank position. And from here, you're welcome to stay up on your toes, or if you prefer, you can lower your knees down towards the mat. Choose the posture that feels best for you. And then on an exhale, we're going to lower down to a low plank, coming to a 90-degree angle in the elbows. And then inhale to reach the chest forward to upward facing dog. And then all together, we'll exhale, hips come up and back to downward facing dog. And we'll pause here for 3 deep breaths. On your next inhale, gaze towards the fingertips again, and then slowly start to walk your feet to the top of the mat, coming back to that forward fold. This time, maybe you're working to straighten a little bit more through the legs, finding a bit more depth in your forward fold. And then all together, we'll inhale, fingertips reach up overhead, reaching nice and tall through mountain. And then exhale, the hands come down through heart center. Taking it to the opposite side, we're going to shift the weight into our left foot and step our right foot back towards the back of our mat, finding that crescent lunge position again. Really working to keep the core engaged, fingertips reaching towards the sky while the shoulders draw down along the back, bringing strength to the entire core. Just holding here, feeling the strength of the legs, really reaching up tall as if inviting God to just hand His peace to us. One last breath here. And then exhale, letting the hands come down towards the floor on either side of that front foot. And then again, maybe hopping that right foot back a little further to find a nice runner's lunge, 90-degree angle in the front knee, working for a straight back leg. And then once you've found your balance there, if you'd like, you can shift your weight into your right hand this time. Inhale, the left fingertips reach up towards the sky. Find that twist and breathe deeply here. Inhale to reach a little bit taller. And then exhale, that left hand comes down towards the mat again. And all together, we'll bend the back knee, placing it on the floor. Untuck the toes. And then again, sweep those fingers up overhead. Find a low lunge. Fingers can stay reaching up towards the sky or can come down to the front knee if you prefer. Take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, let the hands come down to the mat as we start to shift the hips backwards, straightening through that front leg, finding our single-legged forward fold again. Use this final exhale here to draw the chest a little closer towards the thigh. And then inhale as the chest starts to come up, the weight will shift forward into the front leg. And again, we press the hands into the mat, lift up through the back knee, and step that left foot back to land in plank. Your choice to stay on the toes or to lower to the knees as we exhale to a low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips come up and back to downward facing dog. And then gently start to bend through the knees, placing the knees on the floor, finding child's pose as you walk the fingertips out away from you. And find a position that feels comfortable, just holding right here. Maybe turning your palms up towards the sky. I always feel like child's pose is such a beautiful posture of surrender, of just letting go and turning over all of our fears and doubts to God. And then just allow God to replace those feelings with the things that He wants for us. All these fruits of the Spirit that we're talking about through these series, just ask Him to just fill your hands and to fill your heart with those qualities of joy and peace and love and patience. Just gently turning over what you no longer need to accept the things that you deserve. Take one more breath here in child's pose. And then just gently go ahead and sit your way up, letting the legs come around to the side, and find your way to a comfortable position on your back. Maybe the bottoms of the feet are together, with the knees dropping out towards the side if you would like a bit of a hip stretch in our final relaxation. Or you can just have the feet reaching out away from you, laying in a nice flat back. Again, maybe turning those palms up or bringing them to a prayer position resting on the chest. But just find a position that feels comfortable to you. Let the eyes close and start to use the breath to help the body really slow down, helping the mind to be quiet, just focusing on the inhales and the exhales and the way that the body responds to each breath. And I'm going to read that verse to you again. Isaiah 26:3. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. And so, Lord, that is my prayer for us today, is that you would keep us in perfect peace as we do the work of keeping our minds focused on you. I pray that when we wake up every day, we would just view our day and everything that lies ahead through the filter of a gift that you have given us. That we would just live without fear and without doubt and uncertainty, because we know that you are the one who holds our future, and that, God, you want good things for us. We trust that you want us to live with peace, because we know that from that flows so many of these other characteristics. That when we are at peace and when our hearts and our minds are at peace, we can speak clearly and with love, and we can treat those around us with kindness and gentleness. Lord, I pray that we would always remember that any good thing comes from you, and that if we want to reap these fruits of the Spirit, God, that we must first be connected to you. And so, God, I pray for everybody who's watching this video, participating in this practice, God, that they would just be overcome with your peace. And that as they finish up this practice and get ready to head into the rest of their day, that wherever they go and whatever they do, they would just be a beacon of that peace, God. That they would just be an example of what happens when we spend time rooting ourselves into your word and into your love. I pray that we would change our communities and that we would change our cities and that we would change the world through the way that we live. Thank you so much for being with us every single day. We are so thankful for you, and it is such an honor to be in relationship with you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for this practice today, and I look forward to spending the rest of this series getting to know you and getting to know the Lord a bit better. Have a great day.